What's up, everyone? Welcome back to our show. Is it a show? Is a podcast a show? It is, right?
I think so.
We're
on YouTube.
We are on YouTube. We have some cool, I don't want to say too much, but we have some guests that we're going to have lined up. And I feel like those are going to be more like shows.
Yeah.
That'll be a lot of fun.
You got to get good at having guests on.
We do. And so today we're talking about showing up. And what we mean by that is, what are the things you actually have to do if you want growth in your business? Whether you're an owner and you want some growth, who doesn't? Or you're an employee and you want some growth, who doesn't? Mm-hmm. Or you work for yourself, or you're not even in the hair industry. What are the things that you should be doing? So my name's Todd, and I am here once again with my beautiful wife and business partner, Jen.
Hi.
Hi. So welcome to the Hello Hair Pro podcast, and we're going to get into some of the things, like always, I say the same things probably all the time, but these are just our opinions, and this is not a comprehensive list. So we'll run through some things that we see, and then
we're here to help
we'll
inspire
run through some changes. Yeah.
Maybe open your mind to some new ideas.
This podcast was just to start the conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens after this.
We'll see.
Right? Keep an eye on our website. I do know what happens after this. I just lied on the internet.
It's all good.
All right. So if you want something new and different, you've got to do something new and different.
It sounds so simple, but it's not. Like, so I think there's this whole...
It's not at all, because we get stuck in these cyclical patterns that we think, like, if I just do this, or if I just have one more. I saw this a lot in the gym world, where people would say, if I just had 10 more members.
Yeah.
If I just had 2 more personal training clients, like that's not your problem. I know it seems like that's your problem, but that's not what's going on.
And
there.
I think you put out, like, I'm going to do something new and different, but you don't have any actionable steps to do anything new and different. You just threw it out there. I'm doing something new soon, but I don't know what it would be. Like, you got to figure out what that looks like for you.
Yeah. And we'll
just
get
because you say it doesn't mean it's going to happen. Put it in the universe. Totally get that. But
yeah,
then
we'll get into some strategies.
Yeah.
But you've got to start to think different. You've got to do some different things. You need to shake stuff up.
And it's going to take some work to do that.
Oh, it's going to be
new
hard.
and different.
It's going to be hard. You're going to be triggered.
Yeah.
You're going to be reactive. You're going to want to quit.
Yeah.
You might break down in tears one day. I don't know. But those are all good things.
That's how you get new and
growing.
different.
Yeah, you're growing.
Yeah.
So I have in my notes, and this might come across as harsh, but I don't really care. I think people know, what is this episode, 18, 17, whatever it is. I think people know by now if they're listening.
You're going to get what's real.
Yeah, you're just going to get the real. So if you're bored, it's on you.
Yep.
And now that you might be just starting out of school and you're like, wow, harsh. No, it's the truth. Or you might be someone that's done hair for 20 years and you're like, wow, this is really boring. Okay, that's on you.
Right, because you can find all different ways to inspire yourself to make it fun, unique.
Correct.
New, unboring.
And I'll give you a hint. It's probably not accumulating knowledge. So this is another thing that I see a lot is people think like, oh, I'll just take all these online courses or I'll get certified in all these things and that will solve my problems. Nope.
No, because those are just fillers because you can't find the real solution to what's happening or the real drive to get where you want to be.
Not saying don't take online classes.
No, go nuts.
I'm not saying YouTube. I saw someone post this the other day that, you know how people post on Instagram saying like YouTube is not a replacement for school?
Yeah.
Well, someone posted that it
saw
should
this.
be.
It was great, actually.
I was like, yes,
it was a really good post.
That. Why are you knocking YouTube?
Yeah.
First of all, YouTube's great. Do you know how much shit you can learn on YouTube? You want to cook? They got recipes.
It's a tool.
Yeah, it's a tool.
It's a tool
now,
that
it's
should
not,
be used.
It's not going to give you your license, but I'll tell you what it does do. It gives you a different set of eyes or a different perspective
Which is really important.
On your problem or on what you're trying to learn. And you can always, even if you find something you're like, not for me, that was terrible. Now, I found tons of stuff on YouTube that I'm like, that's not going to work.
Right. And if you're
now
bored,
I know.
Right. If you're bored, why not go on there and search out? Maybe it opens your eyes to something that you didn't know existed.
Don't go down the rabbit hole where you're watching like
a I don't go on YouTube much, but
90s hip hop videos at 2 a.m. reminiscing. That's not going to solve your problem.
No.
But it can be fun though. I had that happen one day. I was hanging with the kids, and this is just a random story. You tell stories all the time, so I'm gonna go for it. But I was hanging with the kids, and they did that separate thing that they do. Like one goes over here, one goes up in bed with their iPad and just chills. One's with a book over there, and I had headphones on. I was cleaning. I was starting to cook, and I put some music on YouTube. And before I knew it, I was like back in the high school parking lot, like in my head, bobbing my head, like listening to like old hip hop music, and it was great.
I love that. Maybe I should go on YouTube more often.
Yeah. So if you're not getting what you want out of your career, what are you doing about it? Sort of an open-ended question for the audience, for
kind of a theme
listening.
here. Like, you've really got to take personal responsibility to get where you want to be. Blaming everyone else.
Can you elaborate on that? Okay, great.
Blaming everyone else is not going to change a goddamn thing. If you need to vent it out and blame the world, go right ahead. But you've got to quickly turn that over to what can you do to change it. And blaming isn't going to change a goddamn thing.
Wishing isn't a solid strategy either.
No. What are your actionable steps for all of these things to truly show up in your business and have the business you want?
Love it. Yeah. So personal accountability is huge. We talk about that a lot. I read about leadership a lot, and personal accountability is where it's at, right? Did we do a podcast on that?
I don't know.
I might have did a blog post. I don't know.
Maybe. Or we will do one.
We had a little break where we had everything pre-recorded and pre-written because it was the holidays. So now I don't remember where we're at with stuff. So either way, you've got to take accountability for yourself and your actions and not blame, like you said, everyone else, because it's not their fault that you're not happy. Mm-mm. So I don't want to get
That's a hard one too, but I
don't want to get too
really
crazy, like woo here, but
like I said, vent
you
it out
should
and
get
then,
happy and then bring that to the party.
Yeah.
Not show up to the party looking to get happy.
Yes.
So
switch that around.
So what are some things, let's just dive in here.
Okay.
What are some things that people can do? They want to change. They want, you have someone, let's just pick. I've got someone, they've been doing hair for 7 years.
Okay.
All right, let's do a little case study.
I like it.
This person comes to you and they say, Jen, I know you've been doing hair for a long time. How have you kept that fresh? I'm sure you explained that you didn't always.
Yeah.
And that you fell into the same traps and you can relate.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But then what do you tell them from there?
Geez, so much. I would absolutely first start with, we actually just did this for our staff for a Christmas gift, but we gave them all a 5-minute gratitude journal. So I was going to say set daily goals, but I think there's something to be set for a ritual in the morning when you get up and like, what do you want out of your day? And kind of you're putting that in the universe, but your action is writing it down to hold that accountability. All
right. I want to jump in because I love to do that. But when you are on social media and you see the 5 habits of fucking billionaires' morning routines, don't do that. Yeah. I don't know why people think that if they do that, they'll be a billionaire.
Because those people are smart marketers and they make
no, I know. But so you're not a billionaire, so you shouldn't be doing those things. What you should be doing, if your goal is to be a billionaire, what you should be doing is the things that billionaire did
before they were a billionaire
at their stage that lined up with your stage.
Yeah.
And it was probably hustling and gonna blow your mind.
Setting daily goals, being consistent. And that's why I start with that, because I think it's really important to have your goals and have them written down and be consistent with them, not just for the next 2 weeks because it sounds like fun. Like I want to see it for the next 6 months, like
so if
create a habit.
If somebody was asking me that same question, I would agree 100% with you. I would add in a couple of things. So I love the daily goals or rituals because you're creating positive habits and you're growing, right? You're taking those risks and that's great. I would add in accountability.
Love that.
Whether that's a journal or it's a coach or whatever. And I would add in, just kind of trickle it in, I guess is what I'm saying. Add things slowly. So
Yes, don't overdo
we're big on
it.
layering. So if you're an owner let's stick with the example. So you're a 7-year stylist or barber and you want to,
because it's easy to get excited and do everything.
Yeah.
That's how you'll fall flat on your face.
Don't paint the shop, redo the floor. Don't do all that stuff. Okay.
One step at a time.
One thing, make it a habit, layer it on. Do one thing, make it a habit.
We coach our staff for that too.
So that's what I would add.
Agreed. I would have more, but I think that's a great point. That would be just, if we're keeping it simple, where you would start, right? Show me that you can do this, and then let's talk about what else can be your next step.
So I'm liking the way this is going. So let's ask the same question with someone that's new. Somebody is a year or two in, they don't have a clientele, whatever. What should they do? What do they do? I don't want to show up without clients every day. What do I do, Jen?
And this could be tricky because you're seeing these people busy and you are almost back to what you were just saying, like you follow that millionaire, whoever, and you're trying to, or billionaire, do what they're doing, and you're not at that. And a lot of times what I've seen with successful stylists, barbers, whatever, is, no offense, they just get lazy. So you don't want to show up and imitate what they're doing because it's not going to be successful for you. So with newer staff, arriving before their shift, prepping for your day, if you have nothing in your schedule, still want your station set up with everything you would need. Let's be positive. Something's going to book in. We don't know what that is. So get your foils ready, get your stuff ready, put it out in the universe. And the action is you're getting yourself set up so that you're ready to do. Next step would be social media. Tell the people that are following you that you're in the salon today. Tell them to stop by and just say hi. It doesn't have to be for hair. Just get something coming in, and maybe they come in and they get a blow dry. Step outside of your salon.
So I will say the posting on social media is not enough, in my opinion.
We have
so
a
I
whole
know
thing on that.
I know a lot of people that are like, openings today. I just had this conversation with a friend of mine. He had asked, do you see any value in people posting, hey, I have openings today, or hey, I have a 2:00 spot and a 4:00 spot. Now, maybe. Do I think it hurts? No.
Put some content out there.
Yeah,
but
I don't
put all your eggs in
know.
that basket.
Right, and I think that's where a lot of people.
I would agree.
So
because you see, I have a 2 and a 4, and they cross it out, right?
Yeah,
they probably don't even have those openings. They're just putting content out there. That's social money's not real.
Also, if you're looking at somebody that does that and they have, 5,000, 7,000, 10,000 followers, they might have their clientele trained to do that.
Yeah.
Trained to keep an eye on
their last minute openings.
Now, like that would work for me because I'm a last minute. You know what? Fuck it. I'll get a haircut today. Oh, so-and-so in Boston is open. I'll go down. So-and-so in Portsmouth is open. I'll shoot over.
Yeah.
I want to see friends and say hi and get a haircut. But if you don't have a clientele, who are you talking to?
Right.
So if all of your friends on Instagram, or all of your followers rather on Instagram, are people you went to hair school with because you're new in the industry, or your family, guess what? They already know you do hair. So you're not reaching very many people at all. And I don't know, I hate the word algorithm. I don't give a shit about that. But
no one should.
If you have 1,000 followers, not 1,000 followers are seeing that post.
Right.
Maybe some new people, maybe not. Maybe
and that's why
friends.
it doesn't necessarily get someone in.
I just want people to be
chair.
careful with social media because I don't think that's the end all. And it will.
It's one tool.
Exactly. And it's hard to picture a world without social media, but we will get there. Before social media, we were like, what else is there? And then like every evolution, we're coming with Web 3.0 and the metaverse and all this crazy shit that we're going to.
My career started with no internet. Well, there's probably internet, but no social media. And if there was, I didn't have it.
Yeah, it was internet was like.
Yeah, I didn't have that. I like think
Remember
back,
that old dial-up
I do.
sound?
So if you think back to where I started.
That was pretty good.
It was pretty good. AOL, maybe? I don't know. I started in a world where everything was paper booking. So pencil, and you wrote on the paper. If I left a salon, I got a phone book and flipped through to find people because, well, how else am I going to find them? And they're not going to find me because there was no social media.
That is one huge upside of social, is that people can find you no matter what.
Yeah,
this is why I don't
literally sit there with a phone book. So like and I still built a clientele, no social media, built one. But what I did was I got out there with my face, talked to people, met people, had my hair done. Always, I love your hair. Like, oh, I do hair. I'll do your hair. You know, like I put myself out there over and over in front of real live people. And then that network grew because their friends came to me and their friends came to me and their family and all that.
So if you're a newer stylist, throw some posts up on social.
Yeah.
I don't think you mentioned it, but you mentioned real world. Get out in the community.
Get out in the community.
And
yeah.
go
Tell
grab
people
a
you
coffee.
do hair.
Yeah, no one knows you exist.
Yeah. Tell people I do hair and this is where I do
but
it and I want to do your hair. I just reached out yesterday to some clients I haven't seen in a while and I literally was like, hey, I don't know if you need your hair done. Now this is vulnerable. Like I'm putting myself out there.
Sure.
I don't know if you need your hair done. I have openings this week and I would love to do your hair. I didn't put it on social media. I literally individually text them. One of them was like, I'm all set, but thanks so much, Jen. I'll be in touch soon. Like, it's not easy for me to do that. But some of these clients, I really loved talking with them and I loved doing their hair. So if I don't tell them and I just put it on social media, like to the whole world, I wanted it specific to these people.
Well, they might not see that.
Right.
I don't know why everyone thinks
I reach
they
out,
see everything you post on social
media. And then I'm
media.
like, I want to do your hair. I enjoyed doing it. If you're up for that, let me know. And if not, that's fine.
So last Thursday, I don't know, it doesn't matter. The day's irrelevant. We had a situation pop up last minute. Your mom took our 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, let's go out. We went out. I said, be ready in an hour. We're going out.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I never do.
Well, we always have kids.
That's true. That's probably why I don't do that. So I was like, you know what? Be ready. Get in the truck in an hour. We're going out. So we went to see one of our favorite, I think, bartenders in the world ever.
Mm-hmm.
And we shared some snacks and we had a cocktail. And as the place filled up around us and sort of, because we went early, there starts to be this buzz. And at that point, you're out in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're at a gathering spot. A guy had walked in, he sat down next to me and he had like legit mohawk.
Mm-hmm. I saw that right away too.
So I'm talking shaved shiny. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking faux hawk or anything.
No, this
was punk rock. Like,
yeah. He looked like a cool dude.
So when we were I didn't want to interrupt his evening. He's with his company and I'm not going to interrupt his evening. But he was sitting at a bar, so there is a little bit. I wouldn't go up to someone's table,
right? Yeah, a bar more is social.
But we're at a bar, so when we were getting up, I grabbed one of my cards and I just bumped him on the arm and I said, "Hey, excuse me, I'd love to cut your hair sometime. I'm a barber. If you're ever stuck, you ever need someone, or if you just want to stop in and check our place out, here you go. Yep. Here's my card." And he said, "Happy New Year. It was great to meet you. Thanks for the compliment." I don't know if he'll ever come in, but. Right. He knows, though, I exist now.
Yeah, in our salon.
Because I had that interaction. Yeah. I gave him a card.
Real life.
I don't do a lot of card. I don't know. I'm not huge on business cards, but...
Well, in that case, it made perfect sense.
Right.
There was no other way to do that.
I wasn't going to take his phone and be like, follow me on Instagram.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Because that's where I post my
Because I'm
openings.
more important than your outing right now.
Right.
Like, this is just quick.
So those are just some strategies. So if you're someone...
they work.
Yeah.
The more you do that mathematically, the more you'll have somebody sitting in your chair.
Yeah. And it's just practicing having conversations. Like, so for me, going to a stranger and saying hello is not the easiest thing in the world.
No.
I will talk here because there's a barrier. There's like a dunk, dunk, dunk. There's like a screen between us. And I don't know. I mean, it just made me feel a little weird. I feel like I can do this without people watching me. Or if I'm in front of a group that I at least know a little bit, then I can go out there. But
when we also want to practice what we preach.
It's a risk. You're taking a risk.
If you want new and different, we've already said you've got to put yourself out there. So that did that. I was even like, we got in the car. I'm like, I'm proud of you. That was great.
Yeah, I don't
think I could have done that at that moment.
I don't do that, but the dude's fucking haircut was cool and I want to cut his hair.
Yep.
So we talked about somebody that's been in the business for a little bit. We talked about somebody just starting out. What about owners? What is some advice you like? So an owner, And you know a bunch. I know a lot of owners too. But either way, so an owner comes up to you and they're like, Jen, I need something different. I've been in this for like 5 years. Nothing's wrong. I just want to switch things up.
Mm-hmm.
I want to progress. I want to move my business into 2022.
Yeah.
What do you tell them?
I would first honestly ask them, what does that, even though they said it, like show me a picture.
Define that.
Yeah. Like I don't know what that means. So I can't give you any advice. So I need that defined. And maybe what's your top thing that would make you the most happy, right? If we go back to emotional intelligence, what would feed your soul this year if you got from point A to point B? Now,
what do you want to feel?
Yeah, like what do you want to feel? So last year for me, I wanted our salon to move into clean beauty. I honestly didn't think it would happen in 2021. I was floored. I was like, I will be the most proud of this business if we can get there. And I assumed it was long term, but we worked through it and we got there. So I think when you have an owner, you got to go back, like what would be that most desired feeling that you want to feel? And then that would be, how do we lay that out? Let's just tackle that one thing first and get it going. And maybe that's long-term for the whole year. Maybe that's something that can be done in a few months. Who knows? But let's work on that one first.
Cool. Yeah, I was trying to think if I would do anything different, but I love that approach because it's just, we've got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You can't start everywhere.
And what's going to fuel me and fuel them is very different. And theirs could be as much as like I had a point sometimes in my career where I'm like, I want to work with, people that are good at doing this or that. Like, how do I find that? Like, that might be enough. You might need somebody on your salon team that offers a different service that you currently cannot. Maybe you're now searching that out. You know what I mean? Or maybe as an owner, a new coat of paint on your walls would do that. Just like, if I just painted the walls, like it sounds silly, but sometimes when you're in your own...
No, baby steps.
Yeah, you're in your own world over and over. You don't see something. So if you talk it out for a little, like if you painted your walls a new color, you might feel amazing in your space. And you're like, holy crap, yes, I would.
And to go back to that YouTube example that I used earlier, it might not work. You might change the salon colors and you're like, yep, still feel the same.
Yep. But
now you know.
Right.
And that's
so now
okay.
What's next? So this was bigger problem or a bigger solution than just the paint color.
And unless you hate the color, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. You painted the salon. Great. Painted your shop.
Right.
Awesome.
Looks new and improved.
Looks new.
It gets
There
people
you go.
inspired.
It's clean.
But if that didn't do it for you, then what's next on the list? Okay, now let's talk about that one.
Where are we going next? I liked that. That was good.
Yeah.
Some little case studies.
I did too.
So I think let's talk about preparing for your day. So you show up, your
Please show up before your shift. Wherever you work, show up before you're supposed to be there. It's just professional, and honestly, it just creates a nicer start to your day.
I absolutely can't stand when people show up. Like if I'm the client and the person that's coming, like whether it's a barber or whoever's like behind me.
Yeah.
Not coming back.
No.
Not coming
And
back.
if you want to show up and eat your breakfast and have your coffee, show up extra early to do that. Prep your day, get yourself ready, check what you need to get done, and then enjoy that. But don't show up like right when you're supposed to start and be like, I need a minute, so I got to eat this. Like that's not showing up on time. Yeah.
I need my coffee. You should listen to our other podcast about exhaustion. Wouldn't need that coffee if you took care of yourself. So yeah, preparing for your day, I think it's not just showing up, but it's physically, but showing up mentally and being
emotionally,
being
all of
prepared.
that.
And I think like in that podcast, and I don't know what order these will publish in, but in that podcast, we talked about creating habits in your morning and things like that. And I think that all of those things help set you up for success.
Agreed.
Because your mind is right. You're not just rolling out of bed, driving to work.
Yeah, it's not Groundhog Day.
Getting ready as you drive.
Yeah. And again,
coming in, not knowing what's going on.
Right. Taking that accountability on like, you've got to make changes for this to be successful and to show up and have it feel different.
Agreed. So if you need to, actually, let's stick with that for a little bit. So preparing for your day can include setting goals when you start your day. Now, I don't like the typical KPIs.
What's a KPI?
Key performance indicators. So like you see this a lot with salons where they'll say, you know, this is your service sales goal for the day. This is your retail sales goal for the day. This is your retention percentages, blah, blah, blah.
Most people don't even pay attention when you give it to them anyway.
No, they don't care.
No.
So your goals could be what you want to accomplish that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I coach our staff and other people to focus on the positives instead of the negatives.
Mm-hmm.
You can only see what's in front of you. Here's what I mean by that. So I actually saw this on social media, and it was an example of skiers. And this guy was talking, and I don't know what his background is or his credentials, but when I thought about it, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. It's easy to explain that way. And we explain it to our staff all the time. But our brains cannot focus on negative.
Mm-hmm.
It can focus on the negative, but it can't focus on a negative. So here's what I mean. This person uses the example. Ready? Don't think about elephants. What are you thinking about? Fucking elephants, right? So then he goes into, and I thought this was cool, skiers will go skiing and they go through the trees. And at first, all they see are the obstacles. All they see are the trees.
Mm-hmm.
They have to focus on the trees, and they avoid the trees so they don't get fucking killed, right?
Yeah.
But what happens is almost all the time is that there's this shift where eventually the skier can go down the hill and they're not focused on the obstacles because they've trained their mind to focus on the trail.
Yeah, that open space.
On the journey, on the positive.
Mm-hmm.
Not like, holy shit, I almost hit a tree.
Yeah.
But if you stay on the snow, on the path, you're good. So how do we apply that to the salon world? We apply it all the time with the book. You don't open your book because it's on a computer. If you're opening an actual paper book, call us so I can fucking help you. Please, for the love of God.
ASAP.
So you open your booking software and you look at your day. You're working a 6-hour day. Somebody canceled. A 2-hour appointment canceled. Why are you looking at that 2-hour appointment going, because that's the tree,
mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So you're focused now on the
and it quickly needs to go
the negative.
Yeah, into like, what can you do with that time?
Yes.
Like, how can you make that productive?
Utilize that space. Do something in that time.
And maybe it's even you just go grab yourself some lunch or something. Like, it doesn't have to be, how do I fill it with a person? Like, maybe you need a minute. Like, go for it. Go grab a pedicure. Like, do something for yourself.
Whatever. We tell our staff to get out all the time.
Yeah.
Go grab a coffee. It's always funny when they're like, hey, do you care if I go grab a coffee?
Yeah. And network while you're doing it. Yeah.
No, I don't care. I mean, I care. You know what I mean? But I think that's interesting. And I think it's important because a lot of people, again, social media is it can be a very negative, draining place. And I think, I know it's the new year, so we're seeing a lot of these cancellation posts and passive aggressive bullshit towards clients. And look, man, that's you. That's on you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you want things to change, instead of posting...
Find a new approach.
Yeah, find a new approach. Instead of posting the same thing over and over again and getting frustrated that nobody's getting it, take some personal accountability.
And a lot of that you're posting, it's the people that...
No one's seeing it.
Or the people that would follow it are not the ones that you're even posting it towards. It's the people that don't, and you just need to talk to those people.
Correct. That's
not have them come back. Yeah.
Whole nother topic. Yeah, fire the client.
Yeah.
Problem solved. So yeah, preparing for your day. Another one I had on my list, and it kind of goes with preparing for your day, is dress the part.
Yeah.
So now I don't care what you wear.
Yeah, your vibe is your vibe.
Clothing or your accessories or whatever. But if you don't care, that's how you're going to feel. And that's what you're going to put off. And that's what you're going to attract, right? To other people. Yeah.
What is the clientele you're trying to build? Well, you're not, like, you need to be part of that. That's what I say.
Sure.
Like, even I've said this a lot of times when we hire younger staff or newer staff, and I'll be totally blunt. I'm like, you look like you're 10. So if I sat in your chair as a 44-year-old woman who's gotten my hair done forever, automatically
Nothing to relate to.
I do not feel there's any confidence in you because you look like one of my children, right? So you have to show up. Now, when I started my career, that's how I looked. I looked like I was 10. So I knew I had to kind of come in, dress up, do my makeup, do my hair, which are things like I never really did because I wanted to show like, I'm here to do this. I'm here. Want to represent like the best part of me. And in return, by doing that, people would come in and be like, oh my God, I love her hair. I want her to do it. I had done probably 2 haircuts in my life, but because I had my hair done and I looked cool I had hot pink ends or whatever, automatically.
I was there.
They would pick me, and that is like, you don't have to like it, but it's first impression is so important, and it's how you present yourself and how you put yourself out there.
And I do want to jump in so you used hair and makeup for an example, but it could be an accessory, whatever makes you feel comfortable.
For me,
it could be an attitude.
Yeah, the people I worked with, we were all into makeup at the time and all that. So was just where we were at.
I'm not knocking the example. I'm just saying, like, if you're like, makeup's not my thing.
Doesn't have to be.
No. That's not what we're saying. We're saying dress the part as in, what is your part?
Yeah.
You define that, not us.
Who are you going to be when you walk through the door? You can reinvent yourself. It's so cool. And what are you trying to attract? And by putting yourself out there, you will attract that.
For sure. So another thing I think helps people sort of make a switch or start to at least think about these things is finding some inspiration.
Yes, so important.
Now, again, this is an anti-social media podcast here. I could be anti-social media.
Well, it's okay.
I would avoid social media for this one. Find some inspiration. I'm not talking about go out and find a cool haircut you want to do, or now that might work for you, okay? Because there's somebody out there that's all they have to see is a cool haircut and they're inspired.
Yeah, which is great.
But if you're wanting to make a change in your business, how you conduct yourself, those sort of things, I would get outside of the normal Instagram, what are we looking at here? Back of the head, fucking back
even get outside of your business. Like go do something.
I was going to say get a book.
Sure.
Read a book that's outside of your typical realm of what you would read.
I like to go to the city. Like that, like we brought the kids into Boston over school break, and just being in the city and just seeing all different people and culture and clothing and hair. And that was like, whoa, super cool.
Sure.
It's outside of my bubble in Londonderry, New Hampshire, And so everybody's different, but I don't think you have to be inspired just within the job that you do. Like get outside of that and find something that gets you excited. And then before you know it, that translates into what you're doing currently of your job. That works for me anyway.
So I like creative arts. So I really enjoy reading. I love movies.
Movies are a good one for me too.
Yeah, because you can find inspiration there, and maybe you are looking at the hair. I do that a lot, actually. Recently, I've been noticing hair in movies, and I'm like, how did they do that? Or why did they do that? And that creates some stuff, but it's just nice to be able to find things inspiring that maybe you won't even use, maybe you won't even bring in to your business.
But it makes you feel good.
But it gets your mind into that way of thinking.
Which is great.
That there's more. Mm-hmm. Because I think, again, it's just you get into this cyclical mode where you go through the motions and you're like, 2022 is my year. Woo! Yay, happy new year, 2022.
And then so inspired.
And then in November, you're like, shit, I didn't do anything different.
Right?
I'm just more tired.
Yeah. Shoot.
So,
steps.
Dress the part, find some inspiration, get out into the community. We already talked about, but
it's important.
Let's touch on it again. Why not? So here are some things you can do to get out in the community. 1, you probably are grabbing a coffee somewhere at some point. I don't go out for coffee all the time, but it could be as simple as saying, hey, I like your hair. I do hair. I'd love to do your hair sometime. Pass them a card, move on.
And
because that's one more person that knows you exist now than before.
Right.
So if you want to switch things up, like find new people, now I'm just sort of freestyling here, but you might have a full clientele. That does not mean don't search for new clients.
Yeah.
Because doing the same thing over and over and over say you're real good and you have 20-year plus clients. Good for you. Mm-hmm. eventually they leave. Eventually they move.
Yeah.
People pass away, unfortunately.
All
sorts of things happen. So if you're not, and worst case scenario is everyone stays with you. Now you've literally done the same thing for 20 years.
Yeah, now you got to get creative. That's like me.
Or you have to relearn.
Yeah, yeah, that's
you haven't
true.
been,
Always, yeah.
you know.
So I want to go back real quick.
Okay.
You go to that coffee shop. Your old way is probably you put your card on the cork board.
Don't do that.
I know. So here's the actionable step. Your new way is you're connecting with a human being. Okay. That cork board, if you want to leave it on there, do what you may. I don't care, but there's 700 other ones there. The point is to connect with a person and like, I want to do your hair. Get uncomfortable, take a risk. I want to do your hair. This is where I work. Come and see me. Even if they're like, I already have a stylist. Cool. If you ever need somebody, here I am. That's it. Period. Don't put your card on that cork board without giving one out.
No, don't. Here's another one you can do. Introduce yourself to the owner.
Yeah.
That goes so far. So I've gone into places and just, I've actually emailed places before to make sure it's okay and say like, hey, I was wondering if you had 5 minutes. I'd love to chat with you. And owners are excited. They want like a good business owner wants feedback. So they don't know what's coming. And
it's how can you help each other, right?
Sometimes I just reach out and I say, hey, I really like your spot. I like coming here. And this is inspirational too, is like, do you need help with anything?
Yeah.
I'm not offering to work, but I'm like, I don't know, just to have a conversation with somebody that's like-minded. And now there's inspiration in that, and there's opportunities. And if you're looking to change things up this year,
yeah,
you've got to,
how can we network together?
You've got to identify some opportunities to do that.
You could offer to do that person's hair if they don't care and be like, hey, would you mind if I did a haircut on you? And then can you, if people like it, just tell them where I am. Like there's ways to network in so many different avenues. And then it's like, you give back and it's fun and you create a relationship, and it doesn't mean that person always has to come to you.
Well, that's the thing. So everything kind of ties in. So we are kind of talking about like building your clientele and this and switching things up. But if you want to make changes in your business,
if you want growth,
connecting with people, it's going to present you with opportunities. And then over time, if you extrapolate that, so we did an exercise with our team. I'll just use this example rather than ramble, where we said you have to get out and physically talk to 10 people. Not on social media, not on your phone, not text, not email. You have to go, you have to make eye contact, you have to have a conversation. There's no timeline. It can be 10 seconds, it can be 10 minutes. 10 people that you don't know. People went out and did this exercise, and then we came back. We had a little education meeting talk that day. And so I said, who did this? And several people raised their hand, and I picked one, and I said, how many people did you talk to? And they said 10. And I said, great. Did anyone take you up on anything? And they said 2. And I said, that's awesome. So how many wins is that? And they were like 2. And I said, false. The wins is 10. It was 10 wins because the exercise was to go out. Yeah. Now 10 people know you exist.
Yes.
And that creates opportunities for you.
Yeah. You never know where that's going to go.
So yeah, definitely get out and have conversations with people, because the other people that you don't know holds the opportunities that you're looking for that you don't know exist.
And even if they don't need their hair done, they may know somebody that is near your salon or is looking and will suggest you. Like there's just so much good that can come out of that. And you feel good when you've kind of pushed yourself out of your comfort zone.
So we talked about the eliminating or the focusing on the positive and the negative, blah, blah, blah. Talked about setting goals, dressing the part, finding inspiration. So eliminate downtime. This kind of goes with focusing on the positive over the negative. So downtime shouldn't exist for you unless you want it to exist. And here's what I mean by that. We'll use the example of someone cancels. Now you have a 2-hour block. Great. That's an opportunity right there. What can you do with that time? You could, I know I've been hating on social, but you could work on your social media game. Take some pictures. Do a mannequin real quick and learn something for yourself.
Well, try somebody in your salon that you both have downtime just to practice something.
Right. There's opportunity to switch things up. You don't have to just run to the broke room or break room, whatever. We call it a broke room. You don't have to just run to the break room and that's the end goal. I feel like
Yeah.
for a lot of stylists, it's like, how fast can I get back to the break room?
Yeah. It's weird.
You start your day in the break room with your coffee, complaining about your clients. You come out, you start your client, they need to process, so you run back to the break room. You come out, you rinse their hair, you give them a shampoo, you blow dry them, you bring them to your front desk, you check them out, or worse, you have someone else check them out. Run away and get back to the break room as fast as possible. I don't get why people are back there.
It's not the culture in our salon, but
No, it's not. But it's in a lot that I see.
Yeah.
You were visiting a salon training, and you said the owner hid in the break room
her office.
or the office.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
There's no opportunity in there unless
Not
you're
so
working
hiding.
on something specific.
Yeah.
But you knew they were hiding.
No.
So, anything else?
No.
Cool. So I think we highlighted a few things. But again, if you need help with any of this stuff, reach out. Keep an eye on our website. There's going to be a button going on there to book a call with us very soon.
We'd love to work with you.
We would for sure. Thanks so much for listening. Jump on our mailing list. I will put the link in the show notes. Have a great day.